your heart, and the world will be a better place. You know the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide kindness will be your guide, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. You know the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. Put a little love in. Put a little love in. Put a little love in your heart. In your heart.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all that we lost.
There is a love holding all that we lost. There is a love holding all that we lost. There is a love holding all. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we lost. There is a love holding all that we love. We rest in this holding of. We rest in this love. We rest in this love.
Think of your fellow man, give him a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart.
You see it's getting late. Oh, please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. You know the world will be a better place
For you
and me.
you just wait and see.
Another day goes by, and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want want the world to know. We won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. You know the world will be a better place
For you
and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide kindness will be your guide, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. You know the world will be a better place
for you
and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. Put a little love in. Put a little love in. Put a little love in your heart. In your heart.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love.
there is love holding us. There is love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all that we lost.
There is a love holding all.
Good morning. All right. It's great to see you all on this beautiful fall day. I'm Abhi Janamanchi. My pronouns are he and him. And today I am wearing a burgundy vest and a burgundy turtleneck and a dark blue pants and brown shoes. I'm in my mid-50s. I'm a cisgendered Indian male, and welcome you to our worship this morning. Let us just take a moment and look around and greet our neighbors. We have quite a number of guests and newcomers this morning, so let's take an extra minute to especially give our guests a warm welcome. Go for it. No, greet each other.
Welcome to Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist congregation, where love works. I'm the Reverend Ali K.C. Bell. My pronouns are he, they, or you can call me Reverend Ali. I'm a dark-skinned transgender man, and I am wearing a pink checkered button-down shirt, a teal, pink, and silver striped tie, and a multicolored stole that is teal and lots of blues and purples with many different symbols on them. There is an Adinkra, that's Kujichagalea, which is my middle name. It means self-determination. And it is if you can see the pattern, and if you can't, it looks like a little tuxedo. So I love it.
You look radiant on it.
Thank you. Thank you. We acknowledge that we're gathering on the ancestral lands of the Nacotchtank and Piscataway Kanoi people, and on the land which enslaved African people and their descendants labored and lived without choice or reward. We are mindful of the rich culture, history, and spirituality of the people who inhabited and cared for this land for generations. We affirm the need to share the history of the rightful past, present, and future inhabitants of the land while building a more just and welcoming future for all. At Cedar Lane, whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your beliefs, sexual orientation, gender identity, documentation status, and disability, and wherever you're joining us from, in person or at home, you are welcome to bring your whole self here. I extend a special welcome to our visitors and encourage you to join us after service for fellowship and coffee and some delicious scones. Are we having scones today? Oh, yeah. And muffins? Shut up. That's awesome.
With apple and blueberries and
Whew.
I mean it's amazing.
That sounds glorious. If you'd like to know more about Unitarian Universalism other than we like to eat, or how to get involved in this congregation, please fill out the newcomer form that is being linked in the chat, or return it to a greeter. And our weekly newsletter is a great way to also get up to date on us, and you can find that at www.cedarlane.org. And if you're new to us, if you just give your hand a little raise, we have a tiny little special present we'd like to give to you. Come on, we won't bite, I promise. And we have some people down front too. If you'd like to become a member, please reach out to me or Reverend Abhi after the service. Our caring ministry team is an extension of the ministry at Cedar Lane, and Helen Pakacek is a member of that team. Where's Helen today? Awesome. She's available to support you in person, and we have someone online. You just need to type it in the chat that you need someone, and they'll reach out to you. Thank you and welcome.
Welcome, you questioners, seekers of truth with a capital T, pilgrims longing for sanctuary, travelers needing harbor from the storm.
Welcome those who are holding on by a thread, determined breakers of the chains of loneliness and isolation. You push through your fear because something told you that you deserve to belong.
Welcome home.
Welcome those who braid hopes again and again. You've been there for our siblings who were just hanging on. You gave them a hand into community and told them they could rest here.
Welcome, you who seek spiritual and religious community for your children and grandchildren. You entrust your young people here and we as a community commit to nurture and respect them.
Welcome, children and youth. You give us the gift of your wisdom, your joy, your curiosity, and your trust that we will hold all of it safe.
Welcome.
Welcome home.
How do we make this tender place wider? How do we stretch into a bolder welcome, a radical generosity of the heart?
Can we imagine ourselves the stewards and ushers not only of the space, in the space, but into our circle of belonging?
Can we commit and recommit to being accountable to one another as an anti-racist, anti-oppressive community that centers marginalized voices, that listens to those voices, especially when what they are saying is hard to hear? Can we be willing to change?
When we break our agreements with one another, can we offer amends? Can we be humble and generous? There is grace enough here.
There is, in this place, the possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right within ourselves, between us, and with the wider world.
There is in this place possibility.
Welcome. Welcome home.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to see a big crowd here again. My name is Barb Warman, and I'm the worship associate for today's service. I'm a petite white woman with short white hair and glasses. My pronouns are she, her. And today I'm wearing a black sweater and beige slacks. As Marianne Dillon and Mary Means kindle the chalice, please share in the chat where you are lighting your chalice from. Please rise in body and or in spirit to share the chalice lighting words. We light our chalice this morning with our hearts tuned in to the needs of our congregation. We have inherited this institution from generations of people who believed in the power of human beings to bear love into the world. We carry this tradition forward for those who find comfort, inspiration, and joy within its real and virtual spaces. We tend the spark of imagination and hope for the world to come. Please remain standing and sing hymn number 1010, We Give Thanks, in the teal hymnal and on the screen.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this food we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
And enter into this moment, calling upon all the sources of love that are within, among, and around us. We lift up those in our community who are living through significant passages, the small and extraordinary milestones of life. We pause to be present to our spiritual companions and to the concerns of our own heart. Within our Cedar Lane community, longtime member Andy Strike has moved to Erie, Pennsylvania to begin the next phase of his life. Andy plans to join the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Erie and to be part of its active Buddhist group. We send our best wishes to Andy. Our caring extends beyond Cedar Lane to those whose lives are lost and whose lives are impacted by war, violence, and calamities in our nation and in our world. May these friends of ours, our companions in the world, and all the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts be held in the embrace of meditation and silence. As we enter the silence together, you are invited to rise in body and/or in spirit and speak the names of the loved ones that you are holding in remembrance, or share their names in the chat.
You may be seated. Spirit of life and love, thank you for this day in which we can gather. It has been quite a few weeks. Often we have wondered about hope. Is it something we should have? About the violence that happens in our world. How we hold it all. Where to send the caring, if there is a way forward. Spirit of understanding, help us to know that together we are the way forward. Together we are the caring, we are the light, we are the darkness. Together, we can be in a place where we ask questions and seek better answers to violence. There are so many people who have been lost. We hold each of them in our hearts, in this community, and far beyond. We lift up the joys of this community and of the world, knowing that they come sometimes in equal measure, reminding us that life is a balance, and we never stop finding our way. Let us be a people of hope. Let us be a people of action. Let us be a people of caring. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
And are in spirit to sing What Wondrous Love Is This? Words are on screen and in the gray hymnal.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's crown, friends to me gathered round, O my soul, friends to me gathered round, O my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow bend, with thanks until the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end I will sing.
To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. Each Sunday we give and receive an offering to support the mission and ministry of this congregation and in support of a community organization that is in alignment with our mission. The free will offering, as we call it in our tradition, is an opportunity for us to practice generosity as a spiritual discipline. It's not unique to Unitarian Universalist congregations. Every religious community in some way or form invites people into sharing of their abundance to bless the world. In our tradition, generosity is a profoundly religious virtue, because the impulse to generosity may be intuitive, but the practice of generosity is learned. So as people learn to be loved by being loved and learn to be lovers by loving, we learn to be givers by giving. There is within each of us a self that gives, a self that grabs, a self that hoards, and a self that knows the difference. Therein lies our discomfort, our challenge, and the hope for our salvation as human beings in a caring community. So there endeth my mini homily for this morning. Since our theme this month is generosity, Reverend Ali. I just thought I'd sneak that one in to kind of prepare the ground for you.
Till the soil a little bit. Yeah.
Today we share our plate with Hindus for Human Rights, HFHR. HFHR advocates for pluralism, civil and human rights in South Asia and North America that is rooted in Hindu values of Shanti, peace, Nyaya, justice, Satya, truth, Dana, generosity. They provide a Hindu voice of resistance and witness against caste, against Hindutva or Hindu nationalism, against racism and all forms of bigotry and oppression, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, you name it. HFHR works with a broad coalition of partners to educate our elected officials and the public in North America about civil and human rights issues in South Asia, and their advocacy takes many forms, including government briefings, peaceful protests, op-eds, webinars, conferences, and social media mobilization. HFHR today represents a rising number of global Hindus who are opposed to the bigotry and violence of Hindutva and caste, and have members and chapters in Australia, the United Kingdom, India, the United States, and beyond. And for their advocacy work, especially in India, they are facing intimidation tactics from the Indian government. Their Twitter account has been shut down, or X, as it's called now, and hostile attacks on their staff and supporters on social media. So friends, our support will help amplify their voice for democracy, pluralism, and human rights. There are many ways to give at Cedar Lane. You can give online or by text or mailing a check or by placing your gift in the offering plate. However you choose to give and whatever you give, we are grateful for your generous support. Our offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Caritas
I want to thank the choir and Libby and Jasmine and just our whole music team for taking the time, and our AV team, taking the time to record earlier, because we are in this space while we are doing renovation. And as you can see, we're pretty packed in here. So, so having a whole choir in here too is just not an option for us right now. I really appreciate that we can still bring the choir here to us and that you all are taking the extra time to make that happen. Thank you so much. This reading is an excerpt from Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown. Love is an emergent process. I stand before my love and let the tendrils unfurl in every direction. I am whole and becoming. Time is one instance examining itself. Mirrors seeing each other and blushing into eternity. I am the aunt who carries grandfather to the grave in my palms. You lift the next day's meal enough for everyone we know. We love in this rhythm, leaving home and returning on the wind. Love can't look away from itself. Vibrating in the cell, fluttering breathless into sustained migration, I feel you like dust feels water and remembers the home galaxy. It appears nothing is new, never was, and nothing is truly massive when seen in its wholeness until I took this breath, repeating the miracle I did not know. I would say it could not have known. I look to the sky, taste the wind on my tongue, and fling myself into the pattern when I forgot. When I think the end is near, I realize my insignificance, as important as yours, and begin to love again.
I'm gonna keep my heart wide open, though the waves wanna push me around. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open, though the waves wanna push me around. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open, though the waves wanna push me around. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open, though the waves wanna push me around. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground.
Brings me back to solid ground.
I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Though the waves wanna push me around, I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground.
Till my faith brings me back to solid ground.
I'm supposed to preach after that? All right. Whew, that was so good. Oh my gosh. Yes, keep your heart wide open. Though the waves want to push you around, you got to keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground. Do you remember the last time you were able to do that? I have precious memories stored away when I was able to stand on faith and allow myself to stay right in the moment with a generosity of spirit, often at the expense of my comfort. When I stayed in the moment, committed to only being in the present time and being in those exchanges. And when I did that, I generally walked away with a gift. It was the gift of a shared experience, the gift of a deeper connection. And in her book, Emergent Strategies, Adrienne Marie Brown talks about this idea of shared conversation. She states that conversation is a crucial way to explore what we believe and to make new understandings and new ideas possible, which on its face, it seems a simple statement, but when you take a moment to hold on to it, when you examine it, you can see the complexity of the gift. It implies that we will go into these conversations with our minds set on listening, as the quartet sang, with our hearts open, which we could all stand to do. We could all stand to do that a little more. And I think the benefit would be great if we did. What if we allowed ourselves the gift of being in a conversation where we were listening for understanding, where we were granting just a little bit of grace to ourselves and to the people we were interacting with? Like, wow, right? Wow. Now that would be some generous behavior. How often do you find yourself doing that? I can tell you, I could work on doing it more, especially when I'm not feeling my best or when I just know I already don't agree with that person. I could definitely do it more. But if we aren't doing that, are we actually practicing generosity of connection, of building together, of the love that we need to survive and thrive as humans and as a congregation? In my Buddhist spiritual practice, I'm reminded that Thich Nhat Hanh says, it takes time to practice generosity, but being generous is the best use of our time. It takes time to practice generosity, but being generous is the best use of our time, which I find to be helpful and annoying in equal measures. Because admittedly, sometimes I just really don't feel like being generous of spirit. I know I'm a minister, but you should. I should warn you that I'm also a person, which means I am not perfect. So in my imperfection, I get things wrong and I'm cranky and sometimes I'm even unkind. Yeah. So let's just say that I enjoy my spiritual care and I also need it. I absolutely do, right, Abhi? In Buddhist practice, there's a concept called dana. It basically means generosity. And you heard Abhi talk about it earlier in Hindu practice. An openness of spirit and a compassion and love of others. This happens in large and small ways because, as Adrienne Marie Brown says, small is all. It doesn't have to be humongous all of the time. This understanding of interdependence, as we use might say it, is our interbeing connection, as some Buddhists might say it. Interbeing, interdependence. You see what I'm saying? Either way, all of that starts with our connections to one another. These connections grow and they sustain us. And when I think about it in this way, it reminds me of a story. It reminds me of a story written by Reverend Lynn Gardner about this tree, about a tree that sat in the middle of the village. So the story goes, the trunk was so large that it took 6 people holding hands to reach around it. Have you heard this story before? It's amazing. The roots were strong and wide, and the branches spread out all over the village square, offering shelter from the rain or shade from the summer sun. And the fruit was so juicy and sweet and plentiful. The people of the village, they loved the tree. The children played beneath it, and young people knew that if they whispered their dreams to the tree, they were more likely to come true. People who proclaimed their love or friendship for one another beneath the branches, they found their relationships to be nourishing, and elders discovered that their sweetest memories could be counted on when they were near that great tree. That tree had been witness to so much, and when the breezes blew, when they blew through the leaves, one could hear echoes of generations, laughter, conversations, dreams and prayers. They could hear songs. It was quite an amazing tree. But one day, a traveling merchant, he arrived in the village. He rested in the shade. He ate 2 delicious fruit. You think it was mangoes? Oh, yeah. So he was like, yeah, that's probably what happened. And he said, this mango is incredible. I'd like to have some to sell in the next village. I'm going to go visit it, so I want to sell these mangoes. Who owns this tree? And a villager replied, no one owns the tree. Like, what? If anything, we belong to it. And so the merchant kind of looked at the villager like, okay, well, then if no one owns the tree, no one will mind if I pick the fruit. And he began to fill his basket. See, the merchant in that story, he's exhibiting a behavior that many of us recognize, right? Often we notice that in our society when people are faced with an abundance of something, an abundance of a natural resource, there seems to be a rush to monetize it, to exploit it, right? And I've generally thought about this as just greed. However, Adrienne Marie Brown had a more nuanced understanding when she stated that many of us are socialized towards independence, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, working on our own to develop, to survive, to win at life. Competition is the way we hone our skill and comfort, the opposite of mutual reliance. We learn to feel proud about how much we achieve as individuals, and sometimes to actively work to bring others down in order to get ahead. In a capitalist society like ours, every aspect of our survival, from food and water to health care to child care and elder care, is based on our success at being an individual in the world. She says we could reason our way to more sustainable processes, but we are so entrenched in our culture, I'm saying, that we use our intelligence, she says, to outsmart each other. She states that interdependence is iterative, meaning we must practice it again and again. Being interdependent, I'm saying, is a series of small, repetitive motions. What if we did move as a collective toward living in our values as a more loving and interdependent people? I think it would play out like it does in the story. So if we did become interdependent, we could be more like the villagers. So when we left off with the merchant trying his best to assert his independence by taking the fruit from the tree to sell it, he questioned if the tree belonged to anyone, and why would anyone mind if he took all the fruit to sell it? The villager said, "I mind." The villager said, "I mind, and today I am the keeper of the tree." So the merchant goes, "What do you mean, keeper of the tree?" Villager says, "We take, each of us, our turn being here with this tree. We could never own it. We are here as protectors and sustainers." That's ridiculous. This tree doesn't need you. He says you could just take what you need. Just take what you want. The tree will continue. But the villager couldn't be persuaded. "Sir," says the villager, "this tree isn't like that. We don't come here to take from it, even though we receive so much. We are keepers of the tree because this is where we are nourished. This is where some of our most precious moments and memories are, and where our people have dreamed. This is where we remember who we want to become." "Well," said the merchant, "you may think this tree is very special, but it still doesn't need you to sit beneath it. That is preposterous." "Huh," replied the villager. "You think so? The tree itself may not need me, but what of the others who come by? What of them? Just this morning, I sat with a woman whose heart was heavy with worry. Had I not been here, she would have carried that weight alone. And this afternoon, a tired couple came by and they rested with me. And they said they'd been looking for a place just like this. And then an elder came by and he watched the birds in the branches. We watched them together. And now here you are. Here you are. And you were confused. You were confused about what this tree is and how to be with it. Imagine if you had arrived and not found anyone here to talk with. You might have continued thinking that everything you do is all about you. Luckily for you, my friend, I'm here to let you know that when you care for the tree of life, it becomes about so much more than just you. Okay, so just wow. Let's stop and think about this concept. I'm going to say it another way. When we practice our values, When we practice our values and our spiritual beliefs, things become less about us and more about we. Imagine as Unitarian Universalists, if we practice our shared values consistently in our congregation, how much we could change for the better. Imagine if we decided that we would be generous of our time as the people of the village were and took turns tending the congregation. No one or two people or group of people would get burnt out from volunteering for everything and being on all the committees and task force. Imagine if we were all generous with our resources, we would have the capital that we needed to truly serve everyone inside and outside of our congregation, as it was so many years ago that you all tell me about. Imagine all of the activities and events and programs that we could have helping inside and outside of Cedar Lane. Because inside of Cedar Lane, we are acting from our shared sense of interconnection to everyone in this community. And we can also act for people outside of our community as well. Imagine if we lived into the value of love as the power that holds us together. That love is at the center of our shared values. And before I go any further, please let me tell you that I see that we are on this road. This congregation's heart is huge. It is so big. You are a loving people. You're also people who value truth-telling. And those are two qualities of this congregation that I truly hold dear to me. That's why I can say that I want you to find your spiritual practice, whether it's in the form of meditation or prayer or connecting with nature or discerning your beliefs or finding something that helps sustain and motivate you to be the people of humility, of resilience, of hope, and of generosity. I hope to one day see us all around our Cedar Lane tree, our congregation with the doors open to serve, our minds and hearts open for all the people who enter. That would be a beautiful day. Oh, and the merchant, what happened to him? The merchant sat for a while in the shade of the tree, thinking about the ideas that felt kind of new and a little bit challenging. And as the sun went down, he picked up his bag and he headed out of town, whistling a song that he hadn't thought about in years. And on his way, he shared a smile with each person he met, his heart feeling strangely light and joyful. And the people of the village, they continued to sustain the tree of life, to care for one another and to share their gifts with grace and gratitude. May we be so blessed. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. Please turn to hymn 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is
Well, there are a number of things.
Please
You all
be
can
seated.
be seated. There are a number of things we want to lift up this morning. Worship is now taking place in the chapel, that's where you are, through December as the contractors get ready for flooring, installation, and painting. And there are 2 gatherings that happen on Sundays now. In the morning, we have Quiet Callings. It's a 40-minute meditative experience at 9 o'clock. I went this morning. It was so good. I know a few of you also went. I came out just so relaxed. You should totally try it out. And our regular worship service is on Sunday at 10:30, and we also have Sunday school at 10:30, or religious education, or exploration, or life, faith formation. However you call it, it's there. It's at 10:30.
That's right. That was a beautiful reflection, Rabbi.
Thank you.
I mean, you kind of went straight into announcements, but I just wanted to pause and hold that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that point you made about the interdependence and how we are all connected
Yes.
and how we nurture those connections by practicing generosity. You know, that's a whole different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, I just felt my heart expanding as you were inviting us into that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
That was
Oh.
so. Join a multi-faith coalition of Montgomery County members to really call for an immediate ceasefire, a humanitarian aid for the people of Gaza, and release of all hostages and prisoners, gathering at 2 p.m. today on the plaza near the Montgomery County Executive Office building in Rockville.
Yes, that's important work. And don't forget about Focused Conversations with Abhi on Thursday, November 9th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. And the link is in the e-news. And these conversations, what are they about, Abhi?
Well, it's about, how do we lean into our practice of being a Unitarian Universalist in these days.
Nice.
And reflecting on some things that are before us, among us, within us, and engaging in some, hopefully, focused conversations. And you know how hard that is for me.
I was wondering.
Yep.
This should be really good. Definitely go.
Well, we'll certainly have conversations.
There will be conversation.
Whether it'll be focused, you let me know. We continue with our Elevate Our Vision campaign, which is a special one-time fundraising campaign we're doing this fall to raise some additional resources to help us complete our construction and complete it well. Make sure that we are debt-free in being able to complete this project. Invest some additional resources in creating some new furnishings and other things for our new sanctuary that is shaping up right in front of our eyes, as well as some new AV technology to better support our ability to be a multi-platform religious community, and also refurbish our classrooms downstairs so that our children and youth are able to meet and learn in these new days.
Yes.
So we're gathering, and it's been wonderful. You know, the spirit of generosity you talked about is really present in how people have been responding. You know,
It
to
has
date,
been.
we've raised close to $500,000.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yes, it is worth celebrating. We still have a ways to go, about $950,000, but together,
We can do it.
we can do it.
I believe
we can do
it.
it. So, there's going to be a special gathering for our parents and families next Sunday, November 12th, in the Chalice House with lunch, always food-based religion, and with lunch and then a conversation and an invitation for our families to also support this. Kimberly?
Also childcare.
There
Yes.
is going to be childcare, so please come.
Come.
Let's be together.
And then on November 18th from 2 to 5, you can join me in the Chalice House with a little course called Owning Your Religious Past, which it is going to be fun. We'll talk about all of the things and what we can keep and what we may not need to keep anymore, and how we don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So,
Right. So you're going to help people unpack their religious bags? Is that what?
I mean, maybe just one suitcase, not like, don't bring the train, just a suitcase.
Yeah.
We only have from 2 to 5. But, we could get there. So it'll be a lot of fun. I think that it'll be a lot of sharing. It'll be good connection. So if you're new or newish or have been here a while and haven't done that work, it will be great to come and get to know you all.
And bring your suitcase.
Bring just a suitcase.
And on
Carry
Sunday.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, that's right. Also, next Sunday we're celebrating Diwali, the Hindu Jain Sikh Festival of Lights. It's an annual tradition here at Cedar Lane. We'll just be doing it in worship, again, because we're in construction mode. So
Yeah.
we hope you will join us for that special celebration. And then on Sunday, November 19th at 1 p.m., we will have a transgender, gender non-conforming, and non-binary naming ceremony. And if you are interested in being a part of it and participating, please reach out to Reverend Ali.
abel@cedarlane.org. It will not be broadcast, and it will be after service. So it'll be more private. You can just reach out, and we would love to have anyone who wants to have their name recognized to attend, and anyone who would like to support that to attend as well.
A blessing.
Yes. Well, here we are at the end of our service. We've heard so many wonderful things. I want to send you out. I asked my kid, what should the benediction for this service be? And they said, well, it's about generosity. So you should say, go out from this blessed place and give of yourself, give to people, give freely, because every time you give to someone, you get something too. And I said, well, what if you just give just to give? And they said, there's no way that you can give and not receive. May it be so.